Ready?
Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, a video game music podcast. This is Rhythm and Pixels Chat 38-7. We're your hosts. I'm Rob Nichols.
And I'm learning.
And every week we talk about video game music. Then every month we pick the best parts of that, edit it together, and then every week we edit it together perfectly. Every week we edit it together perfectly and bring to you episode 38-7 of Rhythm and Pixels. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm still learning.
And every week, it's every month, man. I'm going to do this till someone interrupts me.
Oh my god!
This is we're a video game music podcast, except that once a week we talk about games, we talk about music and games, and we talk about it with our guests. I'm Rob, that's Pernell, and on the phone line, all the way over in the other side of the country, we have our good friend Musashi 219, Chris,
the wise guy,
Chris Wisner. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Chris.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you here. So tell me, what RPGs have you been playing in the last week?
Take out that notepad and paper.
I want to hear it. When the week, just a week, man. Just past 7 days, man.
Get the notepad and paper.
So, as of last night, I literally finished the Lunar HD remaster of Silver Star Story.
Nice.
Oh, the first game. Okay.
Yeah.
So the first game, yeah. So I'll start Eternal Blue next week. But yeah, I mean, I did that. And then, I mean, it took about 20 hours or so, I'd say. And before that, I did the Suikoden HD Remaster Collection.
Is it still how I remember it, where despite them giving you whatever skills they do, you just kind of spam the same three? Like Power Slash or...
In Lunar?
Yeah. Like I remember.
Yeah, absolutely. And I completely had forgotten how much I hate the battle against Galleon, where he's just time to die. It's just over and over.
Like God,
but yeah, you could set up a macro to just do the Power Slash and cast the Fire Dagger and
Vigor.
You just heal every now and then. Vigor if you die. But yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been me revisiting RPGs that I have not played since I was, in middle school / high school. Because I have not. I played through Lunar like halfway originally on the Sega CD, and then it came out on PlayStation. So I was like, all right, I'll just play the upgraded version.
Nice.
And then I only played through Silver Star once. Same with Eternal Blue. And so I have not played those games since I was 14 or 15.
And I'll be honest with you, I still bounce back and forth between the two games. Like, there were things that Silver Star Complete did that were nicer, like they gave Zenobia siblings and mess. But there were also things where I was like, also, they let you keep Ramus for longer, and Luna stuck with you for longer. But there were also things that the original did better. So I never can find myself thinking that it's like truly an upgrade so much. It's just like it's almost like Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
It's still incredibly charming. It's a little dated because, I mean, they didn't really do any upgrading to the anime cutscenes or anything. I mean, they updated the localization so you don't have the weird working designs references anymore.
And that makes me sad because I'm one of the 5 people in America that thought they were great.
But it's still got a good sense of humor. I think if there's anything that hasn't aged well, it still has the kind of horniness to it.
Oh.
Because you can still, there's still kind of quips here and there about sexuality, and, you can still collect the bromides.
Oh, those are still in the game?
They're still in the game. You can still go to the Althena fountain with a bar of soap and see, mosaic censored cutscenes.
I do remember that. And it just seemed weird, too, in the sense that, they were like, we added new stuff. It's like, what did you add? It's like have naked cards. Okay.
Yeah, bromide.
Why is that the addition exactly?
Play Lunar, my lord.
And I'm not gonna lie, I still collected all of them. So
I messed up a thing to get some of them, and I was like, of course, there's a trophy for it. I don't care. But I just remember clicking on a few of them, and I was like, this is really silly. And there's one, I think it's like one of Mia's like the whole sequence to get it talking to this guy is just really creepy and lecherous.
Oh, because
I was like,
yeah, not a good sign either. He's like, oh man, I love children.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's just this guy in a village. I was like, not a good look. Probably could have changed this up. Maybe give you this one for free. You just find it in a bookcase or something. Not listen to this guy talk about it's his prized possession.
It's a dumpster behind the Magic Guild. What is this doing here? Why is there a dumpster here? But I will say, I'm assuming you played through the second game before, though, right?
Yeah, I played through Eternal Blue once as well.
Oh, okay. So
I remember
if you didn't. That is by far the better game, in my opinion. I like them both.
I remember even less of Eternal Blue, though. Not to say, like, I don't think I ever had a preference one over the other, but I don't really remember that much of it.
So that's the thing. Like, I said what I said about thinking I prefer the second game's cast, but truthfully, both games have phenomenal cast. Like, there's a reason why I remember both games very fondly, despite the fact that I can say that while simultaneously saying that the battle system can be boiled down to, like you said, to a macro. Like, it's not enthralling at all. It's just, all right.
Yeah, it is just a loop that you keep doing. What about you guys? What do you guys think?
Oh, that's a tough one. I let Rob go first because I need to refresh myself.
Well, it starts with B and ends with Alatro, so no. I'm at the end of Hollow Knight. I'm not doing every little extra boss, but I did a lot of them. I put it down.
Are you doing all the DLC stuff as well? Or?
I downloaded like whatever collection was on PS4, so it has all of it. So I fought bosses. Then I'm like, oh, what was that one? I go to like look up the lore online.
Wait, that means here you said you beat Hollow Knight?
I'm at the end.
Holy cow!
I'm probably, I'm at the point where I'm probably not going to actually finish it.
Could you finish my copy?
It's just going to sit there forever with me at the boss.
No! You gotta do it.
You gotta do it.
You gotta do it.
No, I
do
don't.
it for those that came before you that failed.
I'm not gonna get this peer pressure.
Too late. We're all putting our hopes and dreams on your shoulders right now.
Listen. If you can beat Persona 5, you can do anything.
That is correct. That is correct.
Persona 5 just took time. It took 100 hours.
It wasn't just time, but that game has some rough parts too.
I beat Persona, and then I had a baby, and I'm like, I'm never playing a game like Persona for a long time.
And then
I didn't realize that when you beat Persona 5, they give you a baby.
That's the new Game Plus. It's new Game Plus.
No one saw that unlock coming.
I said Persona, and then suddenly I'm like, well, you're not sleeping anymore.
And now for the ultimate social connection, a baby.
I am you. I am thou. Thou art I.
He is an absolute joy. But I remember as I get like little like reminders, like I pop on Facebook and it's like, hey, remember this from like 3 years ago? And I was like, oh, that's right. I beat Persona. Me and Pernell went to MagFest, and then a day later, I was a dad.
Like, I mean, it's a good trajectory. It's a good trajectory.
Like what? Like that unplanned just happened. So there you go.
He was like, we're having a barbecue, and he cancels the barbecue. Hey, we're not having a barbecue. We're going to get a baby.
Yeah, sorry, man. Gotta go to the hospital.
Like, wait, what? Like, it happened. Like, okay.
Yeah, then tell
you
about
when you get home.
No, you were there because we moved the studio into the basement, and then we moved the studio to a new house. But yeah, so I'm playing that. I mean, I'm at the end of that. I'm probably gonna pick another Metroidvania style game because it felt really good to play Hollow Knight. And I don't think it was Hollow Knight specifically. I think it was just that feeling of discovering a new area and then exploring it and having fun with it. So probably something like that.
You know what's coming out this summer that might pique your interest?
Is it
that Shadow Labyrinth?
Shadow Labyrinth.
Is that the Pac-Man game?
It is. It's the Pac-Man like Metroidvania style.
Okay, so you're saying you're retro and retro? Yeah.
Like a little good pack.
Go on, because I know they teased it at the Game Awards, but it was just like a regular cinematic. But they released gameplay of it. I think like the most recent Nintendo Direct. It looks awesome and it has tons of references to like other Namco games.
What in the world?
But yeah, it's like this kind of post-apocalyptic sci-fi. Like you're a guy with a Pac-Man.
You're a guy with a
I do
Pac-Man.
like that concept. It's like,
Yeah,
He's a guy with a Pac-Man. That's incredible.
It is.
Look at that.
and the Pac-Man is a part of his abilities, I'm assuming, too.
Okay.
Oh, Pac-Man
Yeah.
eats him, he starts eating dots.
He turns into a Pac-Man.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
It comes out I want to say it comes out July 18th, and it's only like $30.
As long
Like,
as
it's
the
not
camera doesn't zoom out so far, because right now it's looking like it might. Because I had this problem.
Oh, okay.
A friend of mine really wanted me to play Rain World, and I had this issue where every character was too tiny, and I'm like, I'm not going to get a big TV.
I would much like. I really like Rain World for from an aesthetic purpose,
Yeah.
and I'll watch people play it. But I tried to play it on my computer, and I was like, no, it's it's just too small.
I felt bad
at
because
points.
she was like, oh, she was super into it, and she was telling me all about it. And I was like, everything about this sounds perfect to me. Like, I loved Fez, and I loved Tunic, and I loved Braid, and all these games were like.
She compared that to those two games?
Well, the deep lore and the deep, the secrets that are environmental, and so rather than just telling you about secrets. So then I played it, and I was like, I can't see anything. Like, am I blind? I'm 45. I'm not that blind. Can't be that blind. But no, it's just I have like a 42-inch TV, and I don't want to get it any bigger because I do have a toddler, and that's just the way it is. So yeah, I'm gonna finish that. I will finish that, and when I do, I will text you. I'll let you know. And then I'm playing Bellatra because I went to visit. I just got back from France visiting my niece. She met us there, and we spent a week in France. And then I was like, hey, I have this long flight home. Should I play something new? And she's like, I've been playing Bellatra the entire time we're here. You need to look at this game and let's play it together.
Oh, I grabbed it when it was on sale for 10% off or whatever sometime last year. And very much it became one of these I'm gonna play it for 3-4 hours in the evening, and I had thankfully I bought myself a PS5 for Christmas, and I pulled myself away from it.
Yeah. That's the
I was
problem.
playing it on my Switch, so
That's the thing. It was like Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors 2 years ago for me was because it's on iOS now. It's on my phone, which means it's everywhere that I am, and it's just dangerous. The thing with Vampire Survivors is they actually made it vertical, portrait, not portrait mode, but portrait
Landscape?
No, portrait mode. So
it's portrait.
So I didn't actually have to move my hand around, so I could actually play it with just one
squeeze it
hand.
together, or
and
something,
I
just to scroll left to right.
No, it's top down. It just zoomed out a little bit.
Oh, so you still can see everything without scrolling anything?
Yeah, I beat so much of that game just with one hand. It was perfect.
Perfect for the cane.
I'm like, more games should be like that. But Bellatra's sideways, and so it takes a little more doing. And but yeah, it's very addictive. I'm playing those two games, and that's it. I don't have anything on deck.
I'm glad I broke away from Vampire Survivors, because that was, I don't know how many hours I dumped into that, and I saw recently it was here's a free DLC for Saga Emerald Beyond or whatever it was. I was like, how did this get a tie-in to Vampire
it was the
Survivors?
secrets. I got so into the early game secrets, all these weird things that kept happening, and it was like a fever dream. It was like a mushroom crazy trip playing that game, and then they just kept adding on more stuff, and I was like, oh, I'm interested, and then it just felt like it's just more stuff. Rather than something that was hidden that I discovered, which I think which is why I like Metroidvania so much. But yeah, I'm open to suggestions. Listeners, if you're listening to the show, I like arcadey style games, and I like Metroidvanias, and I like long walks on the Pac-Man beach. Backpack beach. And Pernell, you are playing...
What about you, Pernell?
How many hours have
time to...
Yeah, how many hours have you put into Ebony?
500 hours.
my
Now
lord.
I'll freaking talk about it, okay? Jesus Christ. Everybody has to know my business.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Funny enough, I've actually had a lot of difficulty settling into games lately, so if I can find a way to focus on a game, that would be freaking great. But I did watch the entirety of Manifest, which, by the way, I enjoyed it, but I don't recommend it to anybody else. So, I don't even know
what that is.
That's an older show?
It was a TV show about a bunch of people on an airplane that took off and then landed 5 years later.
Yes.
And for them it was just one evening, but for the rest of the world it was 5 years.
I think I saw the first episode for that. But that was a while ago.
The mystery was cool. The decisions that every character in the show made were moronic at best, and it just made me angry. But aside from that show, and I guess other random shows like Ghost or whatever, I have put bits of time into other games. And like I said, if anybody's like, hey, play this game from your blasted library or something, by all means, maybe I'll jump on it. Like, I actually own Clair Obscur. Never started Clair Obscur. That's an example. I played more Garbanzo.
That's what I'm starting after.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but great things. My friend Dave was like, he'll text me from time to time. Like, man, I just had this really cool boss fight where you had to dodge like 15 different attacks. It's really tough. I'm sure you'd like this. And I'm like, I would like that. But I did finish Garbanzo Quest, one of my favorite games that nobody takes my suggestion for to buy and try. But I finished it, and now I'm on the bonus world the game has. And it's essentially like the special world in Super Mario World, including one particular level that's been driving me crazy, despite no other level in the game giving me this many problems. So it's been a bit of a wall, but I'm actually 3 levels away from having 100% of the game, which I can't recall the last time I did that in anything. So I'm pleased with that. I'm looking to start up Chrono Arc again. I'm starting a game called Starvaders, which is essentially like a roguelike meets Space Invaders sort of game.
Oh, Starvaders, not Stardaters.
Yeah, Stardangers.
Stardangers.
Die in the Dungeon, which I heavily recommend to people.
That sounds familiar. You talked about it, or I've read about it somewhere else.
Rogue Voltage, which I definitely recommend to people. I played that off and on in bursts. Whenever I play that, I get hooked on it for a bit. Zexion, which is good if you like Metroid, but also like it to be surprisingly punishing. And then the biggest game I've been playing that I'm actually caught up in, but I just got to take the time to sit and play it, is the 100-line Last Defense Academy. I got the game as a review copy, and then I went and bought the special edition because, one, the game's that good, and two, it's that one of those weird games where the company's pretty much going to go out of business if it doesn't sell well enough because they put everything they had into this last-ditch title, and it has a lot. It's got like 100 endings, and they're like 100 legit endings. The game is very long. But people just are out there going, where's Danganronpa 4? And I'm just going, shut up. Shut up. It's a perfectly cromulent game, okay? And furthermore, I am of the rare ilk that believes that Danganronpa 3 ended the series just the way it should have, by making it all one big joke. I thought it was fantastic. Anybody that knows me knows I love Danganronpa. And for me to be like, I love the way it ended, works perfectly for me. But those are primarily the games I'm playing.
I just want to say, because I know you mentioned Garbanzo Quest before. I think you played music off of it on the show previously. Mm-hmm. And, like, I was trying to look up, I was like, I don't know what this is, and all I'm getting is tons of recipes. It's like, how about some Garbanzo quinoa salad? How about Garbanzo beans, aka chickpeas?
That is a quest.
That's having the same problem that show.
And then finally...
has, yeah.
And finally, Garbanzo Quest on Steam. It's like,
there it is.
Finally.
It looks very silly.
And actually related to that, I went to VGM Con about a month or so ago.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And I met up with Carlos there, Kung Fu Carlito. And when we're walking into the lobby, there's a group of people hanging out and chatting in there. So Carlos goes, hey guys, this is Pernell. And a couple of guys, oh yeah, I know Pernell. You're on Rhythm and Pixels. I listen to you all the time. And then Carlos goes, so... Pernell, if you don't listen to the show, you really should, because he has this weird habit of recommending games that you think are fake because the names are just so ridiculous. And he's like this one game he talks about all the time. It's like burrito something. It involves burritos. And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't play a game that involves burritos. And I'm sitting there mulling it over. Oh, you mean Garbanzo Quest? And the guy goes, what? He's like, exactly. That's the game. And then I just went ham on recommending it to everybody. I was like, you should play Garbanzo Quest.
Well, because I'm sure you had your Steam Deck on you, I'm sure, right?
Of course I did.
Yeah, so did you show them?
No. I went back to my room at the end of the night and played Garbanzo Quest. That's what re-sparked my interest to finish the game.
I said, no, I left the scene completely.
Let's blow the scene. Doom, doom.
went back to my hotel room and played Garbanzo.
Yeah, that's pretty much what. Well, I stayed and I hung out. Don't get me wrong, I just like disappeared. But after everybody was done hanging out, because I got in really late too. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
But when everybody dissipated and went to their respective places, and it was time to go back to the room, it was like I could go to sleep, or I could play Garbanzo Quest. And I chose the right choice. I got Garbanzo. And like I said, I was not too far from the end of the game. Maybe I had maybe like 2/5 of the game left to play through. And by the end of, basically, I guess like 2 weeks ago, up to 2 weeks ago, I pretty much knocked out the main game. From that time at VGM Con to 2 weeks ago, I knocked out the rest of the game, except for finding the way to the special world, which I did shortly after that. And now I'm stuck on one level. But once it's done, baby.
What's the next one? Is it Kidney Quest?
I feel
if only no. It'd be first of all with
it's going to be
Butterbean Born.
It's going to be the sequel Hummus Crusade.
I'm in.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it. I'm done. That's it. I'm not gonna think of any more. That's the one.
It's like Peter Panda.
Someone told me about a game called it's a first person game, puzzle game. You go into a house and you organize the rooms.
Oh, is
Blue Indigo
Blueprints? Yeah,
I've come close to buying that, and I just haven't pulled the trigger.
Yeah, people are telling you it's really, really good.
I've had one friend make it sound like it sounds cool at first, but then eventually you get to this point where you know what you want to do, but now you're stuck waiting for the right configuration of rooms to show up before you can implement it. So you're just like,
yeah, that sounds like
because I guess it has some sort of like a roguelike element to it in terms of like how the rooms spawn.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's roguelike. It's roguelike, but also like escape room creation simulator. And I was like, that sounds like a really bizarre combination, but I would like to play. It is first person, which is a problem. The biggest problem is that it's on PS5, and it's not on PS4, which is unfortunate.
Steam Deck.
I
thought it's on a few different things.
Yeah, it's on Xboxes and stuff, but I just don't have a lot of systems. And that's a game I'm not going to play on a handheld thing.
Get a dock. I don't know, man.
That's right. You can't dock it, can't you?
The Steam Deck has been the game changer. Mm-hmm. Everything. I have everything. And I don't care because the Steam Deck does everything. Like, to go back to what we're talking about, what was Pernell playing or what he's going to play, I got really obsessed with the idea of playing MSX games all of a sudden. Like, just because of La Mulana.
Yeah.
So, hanging out with Matt like a week or so ago, I just grabbed a bunch of MSX games. Like what was it? Nightmare 2, most notably. And I want to play these games now. Nightmare 2 is the game that inspired La Mulana.
Are these translated?
Yes, fan translated. So now I want to play that, and there's like a couple RPGs I want to find and play on there. But
last time
on Steam Deck.
Last time I used Steam, I played Hyper Light Drifter. That was a long time ago.
And now they have Hyper Light Crusader, whatever the hell they call it. It's like basically a third-person game.
It's like a 4-player version.
Yeah, I tried playing it a few times because, of course, I impromptu purchased it.
It didn't look like my style of game, but that's okay. It's not always going to be about me, but it should be. Anyway.
Hey.
All right, so now we're at the part of the show where we like to read
one more thing.
Listener emails. Pernell, no!
One more thing!
No!
One more thing! Because I got to recommend another game that sounds made up.
One more thing.
It's a weird puzzly game called Alpha and Iota.
Alpha and Iota.
Yeah, it's like you're kind of in a computer and you're controlling data moving through the computer.
Cool.
And you can jump between weird data ports and you're trying to make connections from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. And I don't know how to describe it, but to say it's very strange, but it feels good to play.
Okay.
Very good.
It's a good, strange feeling.
That's right.
All right. That's a good thing to have.
I looked this up, and I'm just getting recommendations for quinoa salads again.
The best
what Pernell's talking about.
Hey, I like making people hungry. What can I say?
Yeah, they got to order from Where can you get that kind of stuff from? What kind of restaurant? Kava. Kava. Do you have Kavas where you are? C-A-V.
They don't need Kava. They got Mars Cheese Castle.
Mars.
And Culver's.
Can you get...
I've lived here. I've lived in Wisconsin since 2016. I've still never went to the Mars Cheese Castle.
Man, you need to fix that.
Everyone tells me it's just an overpriced tourist trap.
It is, and that's why you should go. So fun fact about that.
If he's been there since 2016, he's officially a resident. He doesn't have to do that.
Doesn't matter. Every year we do Pixelated Audio does a panel at VGM Con. And the last 2 years I went, they asked if I could go on there. So it'd be myself, Carlos, and Gene. We do the show. And for whatever reason, he made it a trend where he always finds a way to bring Mars Cheese Castle up during the panel. And I appreciate that because I like Mars, I like cheese, and someday I like to be rich enough to have my own castle. Preferably Mars Cheese Castle.
Made of cheese on the planet of Mars.
Well, I don't know about that. That Musk guy's mucking that planet up. I'm not going near there.
Yeah, no. The idea is to grow cheese on Mars, but I would like to just send Elon Musk to Mars and leave him there. You just stay there.
But he can have some cheese.
Good idea.
Some cheese.
What's wrong?
Maybe the Munster.
So I totally have not gotten rid of this cough, and talking so much is actually re-triggering it. So we're going to go right into listener emails. Is that okay?
I got one more thing.
I mentioned RPGs on the Discord, and everyone wanted a slice. So here we go. Electric Boogaloo says, I can remember the first console RPG I've ever gotten. The Sunsoft produced Eternal Eyes for the PS1.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
My dad gave me a loose copy of it along with Spyro the Dragon back when I was a kid. It's a tactical RPG where you play as a person who controls dolls and use them to fight battles, kind of like Tactics meets Pokemon. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of this game.
And that's why I said, of course, that's what EB got to play as his first RPG. The game
it was, if memory serves me correctly, it kind of came out closer near the end of like the PlayStation 1 life cycle, and it was like a budget title.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
I want to say it was like... I remember we carried it at Electronics Boutique. I think it was like $12 brand new or something.
Yeah. I love that era too.
I definitely played it.
That were cheap.
Yeah, there was a lot of like bargain games.
Top Shop.
When I worked at EB, yeah, Top Shop, stuff like that. That were like budget.
Yeah, board game Top Shop. Yeah.
That were just like weird like Japanese titles that they just decided to like do like a quick and dirty like translation, and we're like, here you go. Americans may or may not want this. And I'm like, and every time I saw that, I'm like, yes, I do want that. All right, Martyr.
It very much was like.
I thought we stopped in the middle of the email. Was there more to go?
There's more, but I mean, like, gee, you gonna call me out like that
you
on the show?
I like EB. I'm going to call you out. He deserves his full status.
There was good banter. We move on. Anyway, I remember going through the first parts of the game and really liking the atmosphere. This is EB talking.
That's right.
Especially the really nice music. The English translation was a bit wonky at best.
Cheap and dirty.
Unfortunately, I never really got far along into it. But I hope one day to revisit it and to try to play it all the way through.
Hey, we can make a dirty pact. You play your copy, I'll play my copy. Maybe I'll get me to sit the hell down.
Yeah, EB's got... He posts his collection on our Discord. Like, hey, I just got this in the mail. And I'm like, oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, he gets a lot of interesting stuff. And I like that he understood. I want to say he was the one that understood about Poi Poi 2. And that he knew about Poi Poi 2's existence. And
oh, man, Poi Poi 2.
That game, I got to play more of that.
So he posted that he got a copy of Descent 1 for the PlayStation 1, and it's like in the old style, like big
mega
box, big mega box.
Yeah, the big case.
And then he posted it was a classic 90s commercial for Descent starring Rodney Dangerfield.
I get no respect.
He's like, I'm flying around in space and I got shut down. I get no respect. And they're like, cut. That's the end of it. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what is Rodney Dangerfield doing?
Getting a paycheck.
Like, this Descent is like one of the nerdiest freaking PC games.
You saying Rodney Dangerfield's got nerd chops?
I'm saying someone gave him a lot of money.
That is very likely true.
More likely someone who worked on Descent or their marketing team knows somebody who knows somebody
or
who knows Rodney Dangerfield.
Or they gave him respect. That's all he's ever wanted, as you've heard him say.
I gotta know the story behind this because he looked old in that. So like it was just like what happened there? This was not a frozen
easy paycheck.
Yeah,
Rosebud.
Yeah, Rosebud, frozen peas. No,
I have to. So I have to share like a quick story because you mentioned Poi Poi, and I feel like I never really get to talk about this because nobody knows about that damn game. So I remember renting Poi Poi from like the rental store by me when I was growing up. It's called Video Visions. I remember renting it from them. I loved it, and then it's like I wanted to buy it, and nobody had it.
Ooh.
Like, and I remember coming across Poi Poi on eBay. When it was easy to find stuff on eBay. And I remember the auction was ending while I was in school, like in high school. So it's like, how am I going to do this? Like, this is, the year, like, this is like 2000. Like, and I happened to be in like writing lab at the time for one of my English classes. So I'm working on a paper, and every now and then I'm like hopping over and, okay, it's still my bid. Oh, someone outbid me. I bid it up $1. And then I'm sitting there, and for a run of like 10 minutes while the game is winding down, someone is sniping me. Oh, like they're bidding it up $1, until finally, like, last 10 seconds, I throw in a bid for like $50. I win it. And I'm like, thank God. And my teacher, Mr. Past, shout out Mr. Past. I hope you're well. He walks up to me. It was him bidding on it.
Are you
He
serious?
saw what I was doing.
Oh,
He handed me $10 in cash because that's what he had upbid it. And he's like, "Get back to work on your paper."
That is.
And I was like, "Yes, sir."
That is an awesome teacher right there.
Incredible.
I like that. I'm sure that was irritating
I
him
don't
too.
know. Like, clearly, it must have been like at some point when he was wandering around, like checking out what people were doing. Probably saw me on eBay.
That's amazing.
He caught a glimpse.
And I remember like
Incredible story.
I remember a year later or so, like running into him in the hallway, and he's like, "Are you still playing Poi Poi?" I'm like, "I'm on that Dreamcast stuff now." But,
Oh my gosh.
like, yeah, very very random.
That's a great story, actually.
It is.
Yeah, that was probably the best Poi Poi story we're gonna get.
I think that's the only point story we're going to get.
That's the best Poi Poi story you're ever gonna hear, listeners. All right. Martyrus says, "Hey guys, it's been a while since writing to you all. I'm still alive and kicking and celebrating. So, one-off RPGs. Well, the first one that comes to mind is Jade Cocoon, a PlayStation game that combined Pokemon and Persona capturing and purifying bugs to use in combat, spinning them into silk for money, infusing them into more powerful creatures. Sadly, I never finished it, nor did I get far enough to experience the Eternal Corridor. Enjoy the rest of your day."
Sounds like a La Mulana
Wait
story.
a minute. The Eternal.
That sounds ominous.
Yeah, I know. It's the way I'm reading it. He's probably like, "I never got to this part of the game. Enjoy the rest of your day." I'm like, "The Eternal Corridor. Enjoy the rest of your day. The Pope has died."
How eternal is it?
It's like it sounds weirdly religious, right?
Well, the corridor ends when you come to a realization that the corridor was in your heart all along.
I didn't get that far in the movie Conclave when I was on the airplane, so the Eternal Corridor scene. Steve Miller writes, "I was so excited for the release of Legend of Dragoon. I got my parents to bring my PlayStation and the game to my friend's house where I was staying at the time. Still can't get over how 90s the battle theme is."
Funny with regarding that game. So recently I came across like a dialogue discussing, the newly released Clear Obscure, and people talk about, how great it was. And the person who developed it said they were inspired by like Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, yeah.
And then people who were apparently more in the know from having, actually played the game, because I have not played mine yet, they were like, "You have some nerve saying you were inspired by Final Fantasy VII when Legend of Dragoon is right there, right there." And now apparently, as my friend's describing how the gameplay works when he's describing that boss I mentioned earlier, I can see what he's talking about. The whole like timed button presses and dodges and like various sequence patterns you got to remember.
Very Legend of Dragoon.
It's Legend of Dragoon. It's Legend of Dragoon. The thing that people hated about that game, people love now.
you know my history with Legend of the Dragoon,
Lapis.
and it's like I heard people compare that and Legend of Legaia, which just the apprehension that I have to start this game after I'm done with Lunar Eternal Blue.
This will be the thing that resurrects your understanding. It'll make you realize that you were wrong about those games this entire time. Hey, it worked for Landstalker. It worked for Landstalker. Just saying.
Listen, okay, Landstalker was a different thing. It was that was a rivalry between you and I that had to be sorted out.
Oh man,
Yeah.
it's an amazing
I believe
soundtrack.
you and I
on that
have
game.
both on. In which game? In Legend of the Dragoon?
Landstalker.
Landstalker.
Oh no, yeah, Landstalker. It does have a great.
We're talking Genesis soundtracks. Then I'm all on board.
Oh yeah.
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 GameFan44 writes to us. She says, I hope everyone has been well. I just wanted to thank Musashi219, Chris, for encouraging me to play a bunch of classic RPGs in the past year or so. Finally got around to playing Chrono Trigger, Earthbound, and Chrono Cross.
Holy cow, you did her a solid.
Yeah, because he was playing through them again, and I've added so many more to my backlog. I'm working on Lunar and Suikoden now with the recent remasters, and I just got Dragon Quest 3 and Star Ocean 2 remasters to look forward to as well. Star Ocean 2, that was the one on the PlayStation 2?
No, PS1.
PS1.
Yeah, so, PS1, second story.
The one where you can make counterfeit money.
Yeah. Anyway, so many games, she says.
I'm
yes.
contemplating Suikoden 3 of all games. Like everybody's talking about Suikoden 1 and 2 because the remaster came out, and for good reason, they're freaking great. But I've been getting oddly nostalgic for the third game, the one that everybody kind of wanted to pan because it wasn't as good as the second. But I honestly thought it was really good once you gave it a little bit of time to breathe, and you got used to Sergeant Duck. So now I kind of want to revisit that. It'd be kind of nice to check that out again. Maybe consider.
I had similar. Well, no. First, shout out to GameFan44 because she's one of my mods on my channel.
Oh, nice.
And all that stuff that she listed is all stuff that I played, and like some of it we played through kind of together, like the Chrono games, Live Alive, and all that. So I've kind of been like a bad influence in terms of finance.
That's not bad. That's almost like they call it cultured influence.
No,
at that point.
it's so nice to see like a younger generation get into some of these classic games that we enjoyed too. So not that they're just holding up. Yeah, people are appreciating them. Yeah.
And I'll go so far.
I finished when I finished Suikoden 2, because I had I was like, I played through maybe 10 hours of Suikoden 3, and I could never really get into it. And then I never even touched like 4 and 5. But after playing through the first two and finally coming to the realization, I was like, okay, 2 is the better of the two games.
Yes, it definitely is.
I was like, 1, like maybe they'll do like a remaster, like the second remaster collection, which has 3, 4, and 5. But I know so many people who hold 3 in this, very high regard, kind of how I hold the first 2 games.
Oh.
Like, I need to give it a shot again.
I didn't realize that. I thought that was like, I remember people not liking, and I thought I was the odd duck for thinking it was good.
No, I think there's a substantial following for that game. I want to say I feel like the 4th one is the one that a lot of people hate. I think isn't the 4th one
You're on the boat.
Yeah, it's the seafaring one.
Yeah, that one was pretty much reviled by a lot of people. But I'm glad to hear people.
But I would like to try and give 3 another shot at some point, just to see if it's
do it.
All that in a bag of chips.
Maybe I will, like I said, do the same thing sometime soon if I can focus. But it's nice to see that Game Fan is buying all these RPGs, because I think the one thing I want to kind of randomly point out is that, as verified by like ourselves and others who aren't on this show because they kind of faded away over in time in some respects, RPGs have a weird way of forming bonds with people. Just talking about RPGs. It's harder to do as we get older because you start to forget intricate elements of the plots when you get older. You're like, man, I don't remember that anymore.
All these games are so long, and like you get super involved in it, and then you get to another game, and like things have to leave your brain for a while.
But that's just it. In our heyday, man, we did those panels, and honestly, sometimes if you bring up the right game, the moments will come back to you. But we would go back to some hardcore, like, ancient stuff that you wouldn't expect someone to be like, I remember the thing where you open the 3rd chest from the right in the 5th floor of the department store, and you're like, how does this guy know this? Like, I don't know. I need help. Call the doctor.
It's funny you bring that up because I was having a conversation with a friend not too long ago about that because they're like, why play like, because I mainly play RPGs on my channel. I break away from it here and there, but like to me, like RPGs are the one genre of game that kind of feel like just like good literature.
Yes,
like it has these these strong narratives, the kind of stuff that you want to go back to. That maybe a lot of other kind of games don't necessarily have, or where it relies so much more on player input
100%.
that you might have a different experience. With a Tomb Raider or a Silent Hill or whatever. All great games, but there's a lot more lore and whatnot to sink your teeth into.
Absolutely.
With RPGs, and some of them, they're classics for a reason. There's a reason people still talk about Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI, and that's why games like Suikoden 1 and 2 and Lunar, Silver Star, and Eternal Blue are getting these remasters because they're great stories.
That's right.
And if companies want people to stop emulating games, then make them accessible to people.
Yeah, exactly. And give them a reason, give them good remasters with good options and maybe quality of life changes. To enjoy them.
Absolutely. I mean, I know there's always been like this weird debate around like if games are art or whatever, but it's like you think about, most books get republished, most movies, it's on VHS, then DVD, then Blu-ray, then 4K. Paintings are accessible, whether it's an image or in a museum, but gaming is like this one thing, at least for previous generations where, I mean, look at companies like Square lost the code for Final Fantasy VIII. Konami lost the code for Silent Hill 2.
I feel like just for the most part, they consider video games to be almost like a churn and burn. Like, here's this product, people are going to buy it. And I think they've even made comments to almost allude to that. I can't remember who it was, but this was like years ago, where they described gaming. They want the community to pretty much to buy a new game, consume it as fast as possible, and just move on to the next thing.
I think that has to do with its roots in arcades, where it was like, we want you to spend a quarter every so many minutes, and that carried over into the early console days. But it's changed since then. It's not that what it was anymore. I mean, it hasn't been.
No, if you have. Yeah. If you have conversations, because like we're all relatively at the same age, so like if you talk to, no, you're not. But it's like if you've had those conversations, say with like your parents, it's like why are you still playing video games at your age? Because video games now and even a decade ago or whatever are not what like. This isn't Pong. This isn't Donkey Kong. Like these are games that have legitimate stories to them.
Yeah, now it's Tropical Freeze.
And replay value and all these kind of things to where it's not a coin gobbler or whatever. Like there's a lot to of value there, and a lot of those games, the stories still hold up, the lessons still hold up. Final Fantasy VI to me, my favorite game is still this kind of thing that another layer gets revealed. I think as every decade that I play it. And that you're not going to get that from, playing Galaga or whatever. It's just going to be, this is a lot harder than I remember it was or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely, more Space Invaders clones, like they were popular for a reason, but like they were brand new, right? All right, so this is a good segue into our next episode. Chris, thank you so much for coming on our show. We will see you next week on episode 38-7, where we're going to be listening to some fantastic RPG music. We'll see you then.